everyone. Today we are interviewing Katrena Friel for our Creative Side Businesses for Women Summit. How's it going, Katrena?
Fantastic, Carrie. Good to see you again.
You too. Yes, Katrena was in our last summit and it was a total success back in January 2022. And so I've invited her back because she's just brought so much to the table, and I know that you're going to love to hear from her. For those of you who do not know who Katrena is, she is a business coach for the conscious. She is a business mentor to the awakened and is an international speaker and award-winning author. She is the only mentor for those who want to become an expert in their field of excellence through 7 streams of income. And she wants you to discover how to become an expert in your field of excellence and make your soul purpose a reality. So, Katrena is the how you have been waiting for. I love it. I love that intro. And today you're going to be talking about how to use your story and expertise to build a business of your dreams. So why don't we start with you letting us know, why is your having a story, why is that so important?
Well, the story is what I use as the main clue to tell me what your field of excellence will be. So as a coach and as a mentor, people come to me because they have no clarity. They know they want to start a business. They know they're creative. They know they want to express, and they know they want to get away from their job and what all that means, especially after COVID. So they come to me with not a lot of clarity. So one of my genius zones is being able to really sort that out very, very quickly. I don't know how I do it intuitively, but it's just a gift, you can't really help it. And it comes naturally to me. But also, too, it's probably easier for me because I'm able to look with fresh eyes and I'm not coming with any biases or all I'm coming at it with is just a really open mind and very curious. So I have a little rummage about when I'm talking to people for the first time, and very quickly I can see straight away from their story, straight away that'll tell me all the clues I need to know exactly what direction to go in. So, for example, the latest book that I'm writing with a client at the moment is about helping women who struggle with depression, anxiety, and PTSD. Now, straight away from her story, it was all there throughout her life. So she needs to become the expert in helping women out of trauma, because her life is peppered with trauma after trauma after trauma, causing depression, anxiety, and ultimately PTSD, and she's healed herself. So naturally her story started there. So I'm only telling you that story because it's very fresh. It's very now. It's what I'm working on right now. I'm about to finish editing that book. So so if you have a look and turn to yourself, in case you never get to talk to me personally, turn to yourself and really have a look at your story, go and break it down and see, what do you talk about the most? What are you focused on the most? All the story is there, and the story will point you in the right direction. So that's why the story is ultimately what you'll build your business around, usually.
And so how do you use your story to build
I use it to create the book for the client, and the book for me is the rigor of getting people to focus in on their story and clean their story up. Because a story in of itself, just a story by itself, is self-indulgent. Type up a story. Here's my terrible story. Oh my God, here's my hero's journey from terrible to great. And, that's not enough. So what we do with their story is we turn it into learnings. There's lessons in there that they receive themselves, and also that they can share with others, so that it becomes a pathway of transformation. So we create a story from the story that is a pathway to transformation from A to B. So you've got to get your customer from A to B. And that's what your story will do, but you've got to craft that. And so we start with a book, and once the book is done, the rigor is done, and from there we can create the whole personal brand business out of that.
Gotcha. Okay. And you talk about these 7 streams of income. So how do we create that? How do we create those? Where do we start?
So the first stream of income is your authorship. And so your authorship is obviously your book, and your book is also an ebook, a Kindle. And then there's a second stream of income which then comes out of that, and that is keynote speaking. Now, keynote speaking can be $1 million model all by itself, but writing a book generally isn't. So in Australia, we have this terrible stat, which is if you earn $5,000 a year out of your book, you're in the top 1% of authors in Australia.
Wow. Okay.
So there's no money in books per se.
Yeah.
But the money in the speaking side of it is only there if you focus in as an international speaker. And I have that as part of my business, but not everyone starts there. Normally I'll start my clients off with they might do free talks and use it as a sales and marketing tool initially. But as they craft and get better and better at speaking, then you can turn that into $1 million model just on its own. But then what happens is when you've got the book and the speaking, you combine those two together because the book will open doors for you. And that will get you the speaking opportunities. Without the book, you tend not to get as many speaking opportunities because you don't look like the expert. The book positions you as the expert. So they're the first two streams of income, and they can be small or large depending on what's going on and the talent of the person I'm working with. And then from there, once you get off the stage, suddenly you're the expert. Can you see how a stage is raised above the audience? That's the expert platform. That's when you come down off that platform, you're able to, you've touched people with your message and usually with your own heart, and people go, oh my God, that person is for me. And suddenly the ocean parts and all they can see is you. Whereas what most people do is they don't ever speak. They just stay on social media, which means they're just part of the noise. Yeah. And so you're just one of whoever. And if they accidentally stumble across you and the algorithm is in your favor that day, oh, there you are. They accidentally fall into your lap and sign up for some free downloadable, whatever. But my view is if you've got the book and you're the speaker, for one moment in time, they are connected to you and your message. So only then can you come and sell them a signature program. So that's the third stream of income, is training. So training can come in the form of a 3-day residential retreat I'll design for my clients, 2-day workshop, 1-day workshop, half-day workshops. But you only really ever build one big signature program, and all those other things fall out of it. So training is training, teaching is teaching. So that's the third stream of income. Then after that, once they've done your foundational program, your signature program, the fourth stream of income is coaching. Okay. This is where you will go one-on-one with them, you'll work with them, you'll fine-tune them, they'll get to ask specific questions about their problems, but they've got the basics they've already got the basics in the training. You don't want to be coaching to the basics. You want the training to be done very quickly and efficiently, so that then they've got the philosophy. Now they come to be fine-tuned in the coaching program. Then we go on to the other three. There's another three, and that's mentoring, facilitating, and consulting, but they're more for advanced. So they're almost like your second year offerings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you help people with every single one of those steps.
Yes. So that is all put together in my program. It's the how you've been waiting for.
Yes, that's right.
Delivering on the promise.
And those workshops, I think that was number 3. The workshops that you show people how to do, would those be online or would those be in person?
Well, since COVID, online's become more prevalent for me and more of a focus for me. What I used to do with online is I used to say to them, in your first year, just film everything And then when you've filmed everything and you've run the pilot a couple of times, you start to refine your training experience and your learning experience. Then we can turn that into an online program, but a very sophisticated one. What most people do is they do the online program before they've ever tested the market, before they've ever gone live, before they've really touched the flesh with everyone. And it's a very different program. It will be a very different online program. I like my clients to do the rigor of live, and live is coming back now. And in fact, when live really comes back, people are going to be thirsty for live learning experiences where they actually get to be with you in the room with actual energy. So, I think it will come back fresher than ever and more intense than ever. And I think retreats are going to be the next cool kid on the block.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And, I'm in Canada and things are, I would say they're pretty much back to normal. Not
Yeah.
perfectly pre-COVID, but they're pretty close. What about there? Is it, are people having
Well, we're
trouble?
starting to travel. Yeah, we're starting to travel now. Big lineups at the passport office over the last couple
I
of
can
days
imagine.
in our news. I did my passport update just online, just did it during COVID. I don't even know why. I just sort of felt this need to keep it up to date in case we were suddenly allowed out. But anywho, everyone's now desperate. Nobody's kept it up to date. Everyone's, gone off to the office to get it sorted. So I think Australians are feeling a little bit more confident to travel, whereas American and Canadian people, I assume, would be similar in that you guys were all desperate to jump on planes, whereas I think Australians were a little bit more conservative and held back.
Hmm. I haven't traveled since pre-COVID, but I can't wait. I can't wait. So yeah, I'm very desperate to go somewhere.
Yeah, we're all desperate, but I don't think we also don't want to. We don't want to go if it's going to be a hassle,
Mm.
and we wanted it to die down a little bit to see, let's streamline the process. And I think it's getting a little bit more streamlined now. So people are starting to go, hey, I might go now. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're loosening up and relaxing a bit here.
Yay! Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice to hear. Okay, I got another question for you. So, why would you say that most authors and coaches starve?
Great question, because people that go off and just write their book naturally will just go off and do it. They'll be introverted. And those that go off and become coaches are naturally more introverted. So what happens is they're very good at putting their head down, bum up, and getting the book written. They're very good at working one-on-one with people. So off they go and they do that. The problem is that nobody knows about them, and they are the world's best kept secret. So there's no extroverted activities done. And that's why they starve, and that's why they fail, is because you've actually, as a business person, you've got to balance out and become you are a multivert. You've got to, yes, be introverted when you write your book, and you've got to be extroverted when you're on stage speaking. You've got to be introverted when you're coaching and go one-on-one and become very intimate, great listener, go deep. But when you're training, it's extroverted. You're out there in your masculine energy. So what to be successful in business for women, you've really got to do work around balancing out your masculine, your feminine energy, so that you can succeed. And you've also got to balance out your introverted extroverted energies, and make sure that you've got access to both. And I promise you do. And I love people to stop saying they are one thing or another. Just accept that you can do both. It's just one muscle might be a bit stronger than the other. Simple as that.
Never thought of any of that in that way. So that's very interesting that you put it like that.
Yeah, well, at the moment, Carrie, you're doing an extroverted thing. You're going out into the world, you're building something. This is very extroverted of you. But imagine if you didn't do that and you just sat around waiting for the phone to ring in a very introverted fashion. Well, you'll be the world's best kept secret, and you starve accordingly. So, if we're talking to women right here, right now about starting a business, then one of the from my 20 years experience, one of the best pieces of advice I can give them is to really practice doing both. Can you sit down, focus on something and get something done? That's very introverted. But can you go out in the world? Can you network? Can you reach out? Can you pick up the phone? Can you speak about your stuff? That's very extroverted. You've got to be able to do both. You cannot be a one-trick pony.
Very good point. And why do you feel that writing a book is still important these days?
It's so funny that it's still got its gravitas. It's really wonderful that it's still got its gravitas. There's something about writing a book that not everyone can do. And I think that's why. I think most people can do a podcast. Most people can, become speakers. Most people can do all that. But the book, you know what? It takes rigor. It takes guts. And it's still considered very difficult to do. What I do is I make it easy for my clients to do it. I've found a way of pulling it out of them, getting it to write itself. But that's just, that's just years and years and years of practice. So I do make it easier for people. But still, even though I give them the structure, even though I'm there as support, I can't write it for them, not their first draft anyway. The second and third draft, yes, maybe, but not the first draft. The first draft, I want to see what their voice is, and I want to keep it as natural as possible. So I don't interfere in the first draft. But it's everyone knows that it's going to take a lot to get that book done, and I think that's why. I think it's respect, and not everyone does it. Everyone talks about doing it, but not everyone does it. So I think it's still got its gravitas. It's still cool. It's cooler than ever. It's more important than ever to go away and think about your philosophy. That first book is your philosophy. What do you stand for? Who are you? What are you about? What are you bringing to the table? What's unique about you? That's what the book does, is it really gets you thinking about those things and refining it and refining it and refining it until, boom, there's the baby. The baby gets birthed, that, out into the world, and boom, I can build a whole business around that. I can turn that into a keynote speech. I can turn that into a signature program. I can turn that into a $10,000 coaching program. The rest is history. It's fantastic. But you must do the rigor, and thank God not everyone does.
True. That's true. Yes. And why do you think, no, not why do you think, what do you think women, what am I trying to say here? Okay. What do you think holds women back the most from building a business of their dreams? That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. I love this question because it's the thing that I see the most of is that they define themselves as not having any confidence. Every single woman at some point has said, I don't have enough confidence, or, they lack confidence and confidence and confidence. And look, if I hear that word one more time, it's ridiculous. So it's really confidence. And look, what I've discovered, because I started after 20 years of hearing women have a problem with confidence and working with women on their confidence, I started to ask the question, do men have this problem? And funnily enough, when I coach them, yes, they do. They actually have the same sort of self-doubt, the same imposter syndrome, the same worries that women do. It's just that I think what's happening is women talk about it and women are out there talking about it. That's the only difference. So I don't think we're different in that sense. I think, people who are not arrogant actually do lack a bit of confidence. The thing is, I don't want women to define themselves as confident or not confident. I'm generally perceived as a confident woman. Now, hear what I just said, perceived as a confident woman. But the day that I have gotten rid of self-doubt is the day I'm an arrogant son of a bitch and nobody would like me anyway. So to me, I say to my clients, you don't really want to get rid of self-doubt. Self-doubt is the way your body talks to you. It's telling you, oh, we're on the edge of your comfort zone. You need to know. You need to know. Hey, 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 you're on the edge of your comfort zone. And all you need to do is grab your little inner child by the hand and say, I am your mummy now, and I know exactly where we are on the comfort zone. Thank you for telling me. Thank you, but I've got this, darling. Hold mummy's hand and I'll make sure you're safe. And so your body just needs to breathe. Your body needs to be acknowledged. Your body needs to be spoken to, not just ignored. Right. And so working on your self-doubt, all you need to do is, when does it alert you? Just notice when it alerts you. Now, the other thing I work with is the structure of confidence. Everyone talks about confidence, but nobody breaks down what is confidence. So if everybody can just visualize for me a triangle, and there's 3 parts to this. On your triangle, I want you to write at the top, self-belief. So that's the first one, self-belief. And on the left-hand side of the triangle, I want you to write self-value. And then on the final one, on the right-hand side, I want you to write self-assured. Now, if those 3 things are in balance, you'll be confident on that issue. So let's say I'm about to speak with Carrie and I'm about to go on a summit with 28 other speakers, or 30 top influencers around the world with Carrie. Yeah. Now, do I believe I can? Yes. Do I believe it adds value? Yes. Have I practiced enough to get good at it and be self-assured? Yes. Can you see why I can appear here now quite confident and able to deliver? Yeah. Right? Because I know those 3 things are imbalanced. Yeah. Now, let's have a look at it in a different way. Katrena, are you confident at playing the piano? No. Do you believe you can? No, not really. Do you believe it adds value to your life? No, not really. And have you practiced enough to get good at it? No, definitely not. Okay, can you see why I'm not a confident piano player? 3 things are out of balance there. Right. So when you're talking about, let's say, writing a book, do you believe you can? Yes. Do you think it adds value to your business? Yes. Have you practiced writing enough to get good at it? No. Okay, 1 thing out of balance. That's it. When I talk to people about speaking, do you believe you can? Yes, sort of. Do you think it will add value to your business? Yes. Have you practiced it enough to get good at it? No. 2 things out of balance. Can you see where I focus? Yeah. I, as a coach, can dial up the self-belief. I can do that for them, but I can't practice for them. They have to practice themselves. Simple as that. Yeah. Writing, speaking, it's one of those things. You have to do it.
That's right.
You have to physically do it, just like playing the piano. You get better and better and better at it. Now I'm 25 years down the track. Of course, I'm going to be looking a bit smoother than when I did on my first day. The first time you do something, I call it clunky. Do it really badly and be very clunky at it. And that's why we practice. So I get my clients to do their first keynote by themselves on Zoom and send it to me. And that's going to be clunky, but that's okay. I'm an audience of 1 and I'm there out of love and respect for them to help them. So it's sort of low risk. Yeah. You wouldn't go in front of an audience of 100 people on your first go. You build up to that sort of thing. So, confidence is a funny thing. My advice to everyone is stop defining yourself as confident or unconfident, but start looking at each individual incident and look at it through the lens of that triangle and say, do I believe I could I could do this? And the answer will be a little yes. Do you think it adds value? Will be a big yes, if it's worthwhile or not. And then, have you practiced it enough? Should be a, let's get honest here with ourselves and go, no. And the next question will be, are you willing to practice? Because if you're genuinely not willing to give business a good crack and have a proper go at it and get good at some of this stuff that we have to get good at, then don't bother. Don't bother. Business is hard enough without not putting effort in,
Mm-hmm.
nothing comes easily. We've all worked hard for what we've got. And we continue to learn and evolve and pivot and go new places. I've been around for 25 years. We didn't even have social media back in the day. So we've come a long way. There's so much I've had to learn just from technology's point of view, let alone all the other skills we've developed over the time. So don't think just because we make it look easy that it actually is easy, and don't think that there's a silver bullet out there that you can just do one course and you're good to go. It's not that. It's in an evolution. In fact, the best personal development program you will ever do is go to business for yourself.
Yes, I've heard that before. Very true. Yes.
Yeah.
I hope that our listeners here got out a piece of paper and drew that triangle, because I think that was a very good visual that you gave everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I hear that you've got a free gift. So everybody that is tuning in today is getting offered a free discovery session. So what would they get if they were to give you a call?
So we'll jump on Zoom together and we will have a little bit of a rummage about. And if you haven't got clarity, then this will be great to just get clarity. If you're not sure what kind of business to develop, then I can certainly help you explore that. It's really if I've triggered any questions in you today, then have those questions ready to be answered in that session. If there's anything that you're curious about in terms of your story and what you could offer if you were to create a personal brand business, then come ready to go, ready to discuss that with me. I love these sessions because I can find my ideal client amongst them. But if you're not ready or you're not willing or it's not for you, it doesn't matter. It's a really good session with a really good business mentor. So take advantage of it. It's now time to receive. And this is the thing, guys. Women are not great at receiving. We are here to serve you. This is why Carrie set this up, is so that we can all stand and give and for you to receive with grace. So see what you take from this summit. Literally take. That's what we're here to do, is serve our people all over the globe. So receive it with grace and don't receive it with skepticism or, we're going to try and sell you something or whatever. Yes, we're all in business. Yes, we've all got shit to sell. Sure. But you may not be ideal. You may not be ready. There may be a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. But at the very least, have a session with somebody that might be able to help you and point you in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Who knows?
Absolutely. And you've also got a bonus that you're offering to the people who have upgraded to become a VIP. And you have called it a strategic development session, and it's got a big whopping value of $1,100. So that's quite some value you're giving people as a bonus. So why don't you tell us about that one?
So that's a 2-hour deep dive, and this is where we'll actually structure what it is we're going to build. So you can leave that session and go off and try and build it yourself, or it may give you ideas on, what I might be able to build for you. So there is no obligation, but I promise you that session will be the best session you ever have. Come together with somebody that has been around a while, that loves what they're doing, loves having a little rummage around in your unconscious mind. And it will almost be a spiritual awakening. That's how they usually go. People are like, wow, I did not expect that to come out or be revealed, or it's all very, very amazing. And so, jump on board that. That would be someone lucky will get that.
Yes. Yeah. Very generous offer. And if people wanted to reach out to you on the socials, I've got all your links on this page here.
Thanks.
But where do you like to hang out?
So the website is becomingtheexpert.com.au. Notice it is becoming. We are all becoming. And so there's no shame in the word becoming, but becomingtheexpert.com.au, you'll be able to jump online and book your free discovery session there if you like. I do hang out everywhere. I don't really have a preference. in business, or in my business in particular, LinkedIn is fun. Facebook is great. I'm probably not great on Insta. I keep Insta pretty social. But Facebook has got some good stuff on there. Yeah. But my website under news has got all my other recordings and things. So if you want a little bit more of my view of the world, there's plenty of content there to explore if you want more.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, I hope that you've inspired a whole bunch of our listeners today and that they do take you up on your offers. You're both of them very generous offers. And I thank you for your time today, Katrena. Any last thoughts? Any one sentence thing you want to leave with everybody on their way out the door here?
You only live once. Don't be on your deathbed at 95 looking up at the ceiling going, shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Should have listened to Katrena.
Business is fun, but you can do it sensibly and you can do it with low risk. So that's why women are succeeding so beautifully, is because we know how to do it low risk, and we know how to build something slowly and carefully, not a house of cards. We want to build something that will last. Lots of love, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Katrena. Bye-bye.